Hi, Rhea.
Hi, how's it going?
Grace?
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, what are you doing there?
We have Sierra Youth tonight.
Oh, yeah, so this is for the online, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, we've actually got info for you guys. Worship lady, what can they do for worship?
Yeah, hey, if you don't want to miss out on worship tonight, you definitely don't have to. Go check out the link down below for the Spotify list and engage with worship that way.
But
Yeah.
what if I want to be in small groups?
Oh, okay, so if you have your small group leaders number and contact, go ahead and send them a text right now and maybe they can FaceTime you in for tonight. But in the future, if you know you're gonna be gone and you wanna be in small groups, just email this email address that should be right there. But yeah, so you can still be a part of small groups because those are super important and we wanna make sure you're still connected even if you can't be in person. So yeah, is that it?
So what's happening next?
Oh, yeah, the message. It's a really great one. We hope you enjoy it. Bye.
Well, hey, Sierra Youth. We are so excited that you're here with us tonight. I'm Jessie Golnick. I'm the youth pastor over at our Eagan campus, as well as I have a central role here. I mean, we're multi-site, so we have people that work centrally and help the campuses do what they need to do. And so my job is the Sierra Youth Pastor Lead. So ultimately, my job is to help your youth pastors pull off the best Wednesday night experience possible. And we have some incredible youth pastors. I love the people that I get to work with. Let's just take a moment and give it up for your youth pastors. Wow. Okay, they're incredible. They really are. And I am so excited for tonight, not just because we're all together, but because it is 5th grade preview night. And over at our Cottage Grove campus, which is our high school campus for our Woodbury and Cottage Grove students, you have the 8th graders over there. So we have some new faces at all of our campuses. And we just want to say, we're so happy that you're here with us. And parents, thanks for joining us as well. Now tonight, we are in week 2 of our series, Student Picks. And this series, you designed it. We asked you a couple months ago to write on a little piece of paper what you want us to talk about. And you told us. You gave us a lot of great ideas. And really, we had to pick between 4 different weeks what to talk about. And so last week, we talked all about parents. And I know that if I was in middle school or in high school hearing a message like that, it would be super impactful for me. So I hope that it was as impactful for you. And if you missed that, you can go to our YouTube channel. You can see what you missed and watch that service. It was really incredible. But tonight, we're talking about something a little spicy. We're talking about something that your neighbor, your mom, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your gym teacher, your mailman, literally everybody in the world struggles with this topic right here, and it is gossip. Yes, we are spilling the tea tonight on the tea. As you students would say. But I actually looked up the definition for spill the tea for maybe the parents in the room that have no idea, or the leaders that don't want to admit that they don't know what that means. But literally, spilling the tea just means to share some juicy gossip. And tonight, I'm not sharing gossip up here, but I'm going to spill the tea. I'm going to share some truth about what gossip actually looks like in our life and how it impacts our life. And now tonight, there's going to be moments that we maybe laugh a little bit, we goof around, but the topic of gossip is actually something really serious. I think in my life, I've been impacted by gossip that people have said about me. I know that people have been impacted by the gossip that I have said about others. And I think that there are probably some of you here tonight that have been really impacted by gossip that somebody said about you, where maybe it's brought betrayal of a friendship, or it's brought stress in your life, or maybe it's made you question who you are, or maybe it's literally destroyed your reputation, what people think about you. And so when we talk about this word gossip, it actually holds a lot of weight. And it's a serious topic for us to talk about because it's embedded in our society. Gossip is almost this thing that is just okay that we're talking, that we do, that's a part of our lives. But the truth is that gossip can be a really dangerous thing. And the Bible actually talks about what gossip is. In Proverbs 18:8, it says this: rumors are dainty morsels that sink deep into one's heart. Let me break this down because it feels weird to hear that off the top. But ultimately, rumors are, another Bible translation says, tasty morsels that sink deep into one's heart. And so rumors are these things that are enticing. Gossip is exciting. Gossip is something that we get pulled back into time and time again because they're these tiny little tasty morsels. But we need to understand that those little tiny pieces those things have a deep impact on our heart. And the condition of our heart impacts our lives. And Jesus actually talks about this with his disciples. He tells them this in Luke 6:45. It says, "What you say flows from what is in your heart." So ultimately, whatever our heart, the condition of our heart is, it will impact the communication that we have with others. It will impact with the words that we use and the way that we talk either up or down to people. And tonight, a little bit later, we're going to talk about what the condition of our heart really can do to us and how that impacts our words. But we are talking about gossip tonight. And we're talking about what the Bible says about it, the impact that it has on certain people, and then also how we as followers of Christ can get away from that gossip, because we don't want that in our lives. And what we need to understand is that gossip can be so bad in our lives because it's impacted by our words. And we talk about this actually pretty frequently at CR Youth. And it's this sentence here, that your words have power. The words, the things that you say with your mouth, the things that you tweet, the DMs that you send, the conversations that you have, they actually have power. And the Bible breaks this down in Proverbs 18:12. It says, "The tongue can bring death or life. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences." So the tongue, your mouth, your words can either bring death or life into people. And I think we all understand that. We all know what it's like to get a compliment when somebody says, "Hey, Jess, your outfit looks fresh." Yes, first off, it does. Thank you. And I feel good, when somebody tells me that. Or when somebody says, "Hey, you know what? You're a great friend." Or somebody builds you up with the words, "Hey, you did a great job on that presentation. Hey, great job doing this thing," or "You're awesome at this." That kind of words uplifts us. That brings us life. But on the other side of that, our words can also bring death. Our words can deeply cut and impact people. And I kind of said this a little bit earlier, but it's not just the words that you say, but it's the things that you tweet. It's the text messages that you send. Your words can either bring death or life. And when we get in this topic of gossip, I think very often the boys in the room, hey boys, hey dudes, hey pals, I think you guys can think, well, this conversation's not for me because I'm a boy, we don't gossip. That's what girls do. They love the drama. They love the drama videos. They love the gossip articles. They love all of that. And while you might not think that you are part of the problem of gossip, how you talk to your friends, the way that you roast them, the way that you tease them, the jokes that you say about them, that falls into the category of your words having power. And so maybe you don't say, "Well, I don't gossip." But the words that you say and how you talk to and how you speak to your friends, because we can be the meanest people to our friends, and we say "Well, that's just how we love each other. We're just really mean to each other." Do you know that your friend likes that? The way that you communicate to your friend, do you know that they like that? Because your words to some of your best friends could be bringing death in their life rather than life. And so tonight, I want to give you practical understandings of how gossip impacts us. And there's 3 categories of people that I believe that are deeply impacted by gossip. And so we're going to break those down. And then after that, I'm actually going to give us some helpful tools on how to handle gossip in our lives and how to get it out. Because we can hear about this concept of gossip and be like, "Oh, yeah, that's good. I should not have that in my life anymore." But if we don't put that into practice, it's just a cool conversation that we're having here tonight. So I want to break down the 3 kind of people that are impacted by gossip. And not just impacted, but the 3 people that are hurt when we choose to gossip. So the first person that is hurt in gossip is this. Gossip hurts the person it is spoken about. Gossip hurts the person that it is spoken about. And the Bible has something to say about this. Actually, the Bible has something to say about all 3 of these people being impacted by gossip, and we're going to break those down. So Proverbs 16:28 says this: "Gossip is no good. It causes hard feelings and comes between friends." It causes hard feelings and it comes between friends. And even as I'm reading this verse right here, there are some of you that know this from personal experience. Maybe you have an old friend that is no longer a friend because of gossip. Because maybe one day you decided to tell them like you had a crush on a certain person. And it could be even like simple things. Like you told them they had a crush, they told their friend, the next person found out. And then everybody knows that you have a crush on this person. And while it's embarrassing for people to know like who you like, in that moment, the pain that you're feeling is not because of a missed opportunity for like a boyfriend or a girlfriend. But the pain is that you had a betrayal in a friendship because somebody told something that you didn't want them to talk about. And maybe some of you have had really deeper cuts when it comes to that, where people have spread rumors about you, where your friends that you thought you could trust with really hard information, you tell them and then other people find out and it feels like your life is ruined. And so we find out that the first person that is hurt when gossip is talked about is the person that it's spoken about. But not just that, it also impacts a second person. Gossip also hurts the listener. Seriously, the gossip, it hurts the listener. If we look at Proverbs 17:4, it says this: wrongdoers eagerly listen to gossip. Liars pay close attention to slander. Okay, so what this verse is saying right here is wrongdoers eagerly listen to gossip. So it's saying, if you like gossip, you're in the wrong. And so why are we sharing this verse with you? Well, because what you and I have to understand is that gossip isn't just wrong when you're talking about it, but gossip is wrong also when you're listening to it. There are two parties that play along in this game of gossip, and it's the talker and it's the listener. And this verse is saying right here, like when you're eagerly listening to it, you are also in the wrong. And there's a quote that I want to share with you. It says, what you permit, you promote. And the truth is you might have somebody coming up to you and saying, hey, I got to tell you something. Did you hear about so-and-so? And I know like when we hear that phrase, like our ears kind of like perk up and we're like, okay, like I'm ready to hear what you got because like I want to know. You are permitting and promoting the gossip and the spread of maybe rumors, of lies, and of hurtful conversation. And also, if you have somebody coming up to you and talking about your friend, talking about your family, talking about your classmate, maybe a teacher, you are just as much in the wrong in that conversation as the person that's sharing the gossip. So gossip hurts the person that's being talked about. Gossip hurts the listener. And the last person that gossip hurts is the speaker. Gossip hurts the speaker. It hurts the person that is communicating that gossip. In Proverbs 25:9-10, it says this: when arguing with your neighbor, don't betray another person's secret. Others may accuse you of gossip, and you will never regain your reputation, your good reputation. So what this verse is saying right here is that when you share someone's secret, when you gossip, when you talk about somebody behind their back, you could have built a great reputation, but the moment that you start doing that, you ruin any kind of good reputation that you had before. It impacts your relationships. And what I know and what you know and what everybody knows but nobody necessarily says is nobody wants to hang out with a gossip. Like no one wants to share their secrets with a gossip. You don't want to build a friendship with somebody that's sharing everybody's business because eventually they're going to share your business. And ultimately, nobody looks up to a person that talks about everybody behind their back and says, man, I want to be just like that person. And so when you're the communicator of that gossip, you're building a bad reputation for yourself and ultimately holding yourself back from having some really great friendships. So gossip hurts the person that's being talked about. It hurts the listener. And it also hurts the speaker. So if gossip hurts everyone, why do we keep getting entangled with it? Well, like the Bible said, it's a dainty morsel. It's something that's enticing that we want to get behind. And often it then shifts the perspective or the focus from us onto somebody else. And it makes us feel better than somebody else because our lives are not as bad. Our lives are not as messy as that person. And so we share that other person's information. So if we understand that it's harmful and hurtful, what do we do about it? Like, what do I do about this problem with gossip? Because I'm honest, like back in high school, I loved gossip, and I still find myself struggling with it. But I found these two things to be super helpful for me as I'm trying to get away from gossip in my life and using my words to bring life rather than death. And the first thing that I think that you and I need to do is to guard your ears. Guard your ears. And now you might be thinking like, okay, am I supposed to wear like earmuffs, earplugs, like when somebody's like bringing some hot goss, if somebody's bringing some tea to me, like am I supposed to just like close my ears because like then I can't hear anything? That might be one solution, but will cause many problems in your life because you need to be able to hear things. But what I'm saying with this is guarding your ears is choosing to stop the communication of gossip to yourself. Guarding your ears because what goes in impacts your heart and then impacts what comes out. Because it says, like Luke says, it flows out from us. Whatever's in our heart, it flows out from us. So if we guard our ears, if we stop that gossip from getting to us, and it's as simple as this one question. I believe that you and I can stop a conversation of gossip by asking one question, and it's this. So you got your friend coming up, and they're like, hey, Jess, I got some tea on grace. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to hear it. And sometimes if you say, I don't want to hear it, people don't like listen, and they want to tell you anyways. And so I found this question be super helpful. You look at that person, and you ask them, why are you telling me this? You ask them, hey, this information that you're sharing with me, why are you sharing it with me? And more times than not, I think that person is going to take a moment and really think about it. Okay, maybe why am I sharing that? And most of the time, it'll, honestly, a little uncomfortable conflict will stop someone from sharing that with you. And maybe that doesn't work every time. And you're like, I have this friend, and they keep bringing this up, and they always gossip. Or when we get together, when we have sleepovers, we stay up late, and then we gossip about other people. And I don't want to be a part of that. Like, what do I do about it? Well, I think then we set boundaries in our relationship, and we say, hey, if we start to gossip, if we start to talk poorly about others, this is what we should do. We should say this safety word, or we shift the conversation. And ultimately, if you have people in your life that are constantly like speaking poorly of others and gossiping, then maybe you have to sever those relationships. Or maybe you need to step away and separate yourself from them because you want to guard your ears. So first, we guard our ears. And secondly, we close our mouths. Because if our mouths are closed, the gossip will not come out. The Bible says in Proverbs 21, verse 23, it says, watch your tongue and keep your mouth shut, and you will stay out of trouble. Watch your tongue, keep your mouth shut, and you will stay out of trouble. Watch your tongue, keep your mouth shut, and you will stay out of trouble. That's the truth for you and for I. And there's moments that we get some like really good gossip, and we are really excited to tell someone because it's shocking, it's crazy, you can't believe it. And so you run to your friend and you look at them, and in that moment, you have a choice to make, because the words that you're saying, again, will either bring death or life, will either build up or tear down. And so you need to ask yourself this question right here. Would I want someone sharing similar information about me if I were not around? So you have this gossip, this information about someone that you're about to share with somebody else other than that person that you were talking about. And then you have to think, would I want somebody doing the same thing to me? And if the answer is no, then you shouldn't share it. Then you should choose to keep your mouth shut, keep that information to yourself, and let that scalding hot tea get like lukewarm, just like let it sit there. But ultimately, like we've been talking, that gossip hurts. It hurts the listener, it hurts the person who's talked about it, hurts the speaker. We've learned to guard our ears, to close our mouths so that our gossip doesn't impact other people. But I think the last question that we need to ask ourselves is, why do we share gossip? And ultimately, I think it goes back to that verse that I shared in Luke. It's Luke 6, verse 45. It says, what you say flows from what is in your heart. And if you're here tonight and you find yourself trash talking, roasting, gossiping, saying awful things about people behind their back because your heart is hurting, and you've tried for so long to fix it yourself. You've tried to do all the things, and you've tried to say all the sorries, you've tried to think all the positive things, but you found that your heart is broken because people have said things to you, because people have hurt you, because people have said awful things. They've spoken lies. They've hurt you with the way they tease you or they pick on you, or the rumors that they say behind your back when you leave the room. You're like, it's that feeling of like everybody's talking about you. You've been carrying that hurt for so long. And ultimately, the condition of your heart impacts your words. And I can give you all the tools on how to proactively not let gossip into your life and all the reasons that it hurts, but we first have to go to the condition of our heart. Is your heart hurting? Because if your heart is hurting, your communication is going to mirror that. And so right now, before we head to small groups, before we talk about all of this tonight, there are a group of you that I think for a long time you've been hurting other people because you've been hurt. There's this phrase, hurt people, hurt people. And I think for so long you've been trying to fix it yourself, but the truth is that only Jesus can mend what's so deeply broken. Only Jesus can fix those spots of your heart that are hurting so bad that you've been trying to fix, and that ultimately you've been hurting others. And I think there are also some of you that have been so deeply hurt by gossip, and this topic has actually really wrecked you. Even just the thought of the conversation has hurt you. And so I want to take a moment right now and pray for you and pray for healing in this moment, because we don't have to have this big altar moment for God to fix what's broken. He could actually do it just like one snap of a finger. He could heal this in this moment, or he can walk through the process with us. But I would love to pray for you tonight. So Jesus, I just thank you for these students, and I thank you for this topic. God, I don't thank you for gossip, but I thank you that our students wanted to hear about this, because it makes me know that they're thinking about it and thinking about the impact of their words, how they conduct themselves. And Lord, for the students in here that are really broken in their hearts because of words that have been spoken over them, experiences that they've had, maybe self-hatred that they've been holding on to that's been making them lash out at others, we just pray for those students right now, God, that you would bring restoration and healing where things have felt broken. And God, would you help us to choose to speak life rather than death, to build up rather than tear down. And God, ultimately, would you help us to know you better so that we can show you through our conversations and through our words. Jesus, we love you, we thank you, and we pray these things in your name. Amen.